Hello again. Even though we are all thoroughly used these days to the changing complexion of this country, a process which seems to be increasing day by day at an exponential rate, from time to time a photograph makes you pause and take stock. Many towns and districts these days have youth councils which are supposed to mirror the activities of the local council which runs the area. These children are elected by their schools with a little help from the teachers. The thumbnail to this video shows the youth council for the town of Peterborough, which is in Cambridgeshire. It illustrates a newspaper article, a link to which I give in the description to this video. Nothing could bring home with greater force the difference between English society now and the way it was only a few decades ago. I used to visit Peterborough quite often at one time, and before the election of Tony Blair in 1997, the place was almost entirely white British. In what seems like the blink of an eye, though, it has been altered out of all recognition. The photograph shows 8 school children. 3 are black, 1 is of Chinese heritage, 1 is from a family of South Asian origin, and there are 3 white girls. One of these girls is called Kin Russo, and I am assuming that her parents are unlikely to have been born in this country, which leaves just 2 children in the group who are of white British ancestry. That is a quarter of the total. Without expressing any view on whether or not this is a good or a bad thing, I think we can all agree that it is a thing. That is to say, in the course of a quarter of a century, an English town has changed so dramatically that English children are in a minority. Whatever one's views on immigration, politics, or race relations, this must surely be something worth remarking on and discussing. I would be interested to know how many residents of Peterborough knew 25 years ago that this was going to happen, and how many of them wanted it to happen. Were the people living in this town in Cambridgeshire dissatisfied with the fact that hardly any non-white people were living in the town, and was there widespread agitation for a change to a more multicultural society? I'm bound to say that I didn't hear such views being expressed in the 1990s. Were they consulted? Did anybody think that they should be consulted? Was there actually a plan to change the ethnic composition of this town, or was it just a haphazard consequence of mass immigration? Should we even be asking such questions? I ask this because these days it is thought to be a little suspect if you notice, with anything other than keen enthusiasm, the changing demography of Britain. It is fine to celebrate diversity, to speak warmly of the various different cuisines which one is now able to sample in the high road, to talk of how vibrant the town centre has become. But the unspoken agreement is that you must always make it clear that you approve of these changes, or at the very least you refrain from criticising them. Nobody wants to appear like a Little Englander, a Brexiteer, or a supporter of Nigel Farage. Such things are likely to bring social ruin in many quarters today. The truth is, people are scared to speak out or even admit that they have noticed any changes. This cannot be healthy for anybody. I'm always curious when I find out that I'm not supposed to talk about some subject, whether it's religion, sex, or immigration. I always ask myself why this topic is off limits and what it is about it which makes people feel uncomfortable. I have no hesitation in discussing my own religious beliefs, confirming openly that I'm a heterosexual, or talking about the pros and cons of immigration. And so when other people show a marked reluctance on these or similar matters, I'm bound to ask myself why this should be. Does anybody watching this feel that Peterborough was lacking something before immigrants arrived in the town and made English children a minority? What was the purpose in changing the town so dramatically? What are the advantages of this change? I feel that anybody who is willing to engage in a frank exchange of views on questions of this kind must surely have something to hide. Why are we not supposed to ask these questions? What actually is going on?